Hey, what is up, YouTube? This is going to be a long video today. I'm going on a ride. I'm going to take you on that ride with me. And we're going to a neighboring city called Aubrey, Texas. Pretty little town. Hopefully you guys can hear me well enough. I'm getting quite a bit of air noise through the helmet, so wind noise, sorry, not air noise. A lot of this will be familiar to those of you who watched the last video where I rode through Salina, Texas. And so part of the journey will be through Salina again, on our way to Aubrey. Beautiful day today in North Texas. It is the week previous to Easter coming up next Sunday. So for those of you celebrating Easter, whenever you see this video, happy Easter. I definitely celebrate Easter. Everything's getting pretty green here in Texas right now. We've had quite a bit of rainfall. The weather's warming up. And we've had about a week's worth of very nice weather. And this is the first chance I've had to ride for some time. So I took it, had to. Those of you who ride know what I mean. You can't pass it up. So not a single cloud in the sky. Humidity's around, I think it's around 40-50% humidity today, which for some of you may seem high, but for those of us in the southern United States, that is paradise. It's in the low 70s right now. I think that's going to get up to about 90 degrees today, Fahrenheit, for those of you over living under the metric system domain. So again, this is Salina. Essentially a railroad town. Actually, a lot of towns in this area are railroad towns, which is true of many towns that are out there. Salina embraces the railroad culture. Most cities have restrictions on the railroads. Well, the trains are not allowed to blare their horns, but Salina invites it from the engineers, or sorry, I guess, was that what they're called? The people who control the trains. I think they're engineers. You know, I'm second guessing myself now. So anyhow, that'll not a great place to put. Who put that dirt there? Anyways, so the Yeah, so we get lots of blaring horns in this area. Some pretty cool old buildings here in Salina. I'll have to remember to get some history on this town for you, for those of you who are interested in historical stuff. But I can tell you this much, Salina, Texas is named after a city in Tennessee by the same name. And it was founded by a guy from Salina, Tennessee. And me being from Tennessee, I often wondered if there was some relationship between the two towns, and yep, there is. Kind of cool to learn that little tidbit. And I'm afraid I don't know a lot more history, much more history beyond that for the town of Salina. But where we're going, I did grab a little bit of a few more nuggets for the town of Aubrey. Excuse me. This is one of those videos I don't plan on whatever. I wonder what they pay those guys to do that. Or if they just like are just nuts and they do it for free. In any case, looks like there's Easter celebration going on. Is that what that is? It is quiet hour. What in the world? I don't know what that means. It definitely doesn't look quiet over there. It's kind of fun. I didn't know this was going on. Yes, our police officers wear Stetsons in Texas and cowboy boots. I don't know how they chase bad guys in cowboy boots, but that's definitely a talent I don't have. I don't even own cowboy boots. I don't like country music. I'm not a country boy. I'm a city slicker. I like the country, but and I grew up in the country, but I never embraced the country vibe in terms of dress and apparel and music. That will probably come as a shock to some who are watching, because I typically get shocked responses from people when I tell them I grew up in the South and I do not like country.
2,000 years later.
Well, if my engine wasn't warm yet, it's definitely warm now. Most of Salina is ranch and farmland. Get a lot of longhorns out of here. It's an interesting animal. Pretty big. I don't know that they're much bigger than a typical, you know, maybe a, oh, now see, I'm gonna, a Hereford cow or something like that, but they are pretty big cattle. There you go. There's some longhorns. Their horns didn't seem so big. Compared to others. So a lot of this land out here, you know, is obviously owned by families and so forth, and I really very much appreciate the fact that many of them are keeping their farms and ranches going. You know, it's kind of funny in the United States, at least, and this may be true in other areas of the world. I don't know actually, but it just seems like oh, there's now. See, that's those are longhorns for sure. It just seems like we always develop our good land into, you know, housing and buildings and so forth, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I know those struggling farmers and ranches probably very much appreciate the chance to sell off their land and pay off whatever debts they've accrued over the years, or, you know, just make plenty of money on the sale of their land, which is at this point in time is prime real estate, especially in Texas. But to me, I always wondered why we don't develop our crappy land into housing and buildings. Well, why would you take your fertile land and essentially destroy the farm that was there, that was productive perhaps, or could be productive with the right management and so forth, and plop some houses that are going to do nothing but grow grass and maybe a couple trees? And a lot of communities that have HOAs don't permit, you know, fruit trees and stuff like that for homeowners, so, you know, there's no production going on. I don't know. That always made me wonder, like, it's kind of short-sighted, honestly. I think we take for granted what it actually requires to have a successful farm and to produce on that farm. So just interesting. Part of me wants to be a farmer. I know I'd suck at it. I can grow weeds really good, but I'm not a horticulturalist, and I don't have a green thumb. I have a gangrenous thumb. So you can kind of see where all of this farmland, this would have all been farm and ranch, you know, you got communities cropping up. And that's just the nature of any expanding city or community, but again, I don't know. It seems kind of not an ideal scenario long term. That said, I will say this about this particular area of Texas. We don't have a lot of what you might call fertile land, and it's only becomes really suitable for ranching and grazing animals to be on, because it's just so much rock, and And when I say rock, I mean if you were to stick a shovel in it, it's like maybe half an inch of topsoil, and then you're hitting just what essentially is compacted gravel. So back to my original point, maybe it is fairly well suited for housing development in that regard, but that's not universally true in this area. There's definitely some parts of this land that are fairly fertile. Fun fact, we have a lot of what's called caliche in our soil here, and as a result, houses in Texas have to have a pre-tension slab foundation, because whenever the soil, so it doesn't really, so okay, it's kind of a mix. There's caliche in the soil, which sheds water runoff and so forth, but then the soil that does absorb the water increases its size 6 times when wet. So you have this massive expansion and contraction of the topsoil, and so older homes typically have foundation issues here, and they think they've got it kind of figured out. The houses end up kind of floating on the dirt. Not that anyone cared, but I do. I live here. I have to live with it. I did not know there was a steel fabrication or warehouse here. So this probably again looks familiar to most of you. Or most of you who watched the last film. YouTube video. And we're gonna extend the trip now further to Aubrey, Texas. I don't know what that smell is I'm smelling, but it smells like a very strong chemical smell. So one of the reasons I'm taking you guys with me on this trip is I took this route to another city in Texas. Ended up being all back roads, and it was actually pretty awesome. I drove the Mazda and had a good, it was a fun time, you know, just seeing just a different part of Texas, and an area of Aubrey that I hadn't seen before. I have seen parts of Aubrey before, but definitely not where we're going previous to this. So thought, oh yeah, you know what, this would be a good bike ride. There's a few curves in this part of the road, or this trip, sorry, and some minor elevation change, so it's fun, should be fun. Of course, in the Mazda, you know, that curves are not its forte. So they're probably not going to be as good on the Buell as they were in the Mazda. And there is some construction ahead, so it kind of ruins part of it. It's funny. I see people. I don't know if it's they're not comfortable with curves. Man, they'll slow down a lot in curves here in Texas. Growing up in Tennessee, people typically don't slow down very much unless they're hauling something in a turn, because most of the roads are curvy there anyway. Most of them in Texas are straight, so I don't know, people just get wigged out by the, oh, what's this thing up ahead of me? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die or something. I don't know, but I just find it kind of funny. I've seen people in sports cars, like this Tesla. Tesla's not a sports car, but this Tesla's slowing down considerably with these curves, and just humorous. So what's fun for me about this particular part of the road is that it does remind me a little bit of Middle Tennessee. This is kind of like what I grew up with. You know, gentle turns like that or curves like that, farms and lots of trees. Middle Tennessee is, if you haven't been there, it's very much like this. And you know, maybe the guy who founded Salina came here and thought, well, this is a lot like, reminds me of Tennessee. I mean, I don't know. And we're not hitting the Aubrey city limit. Man, somebody's smoking something. That smelled good. It smelled like barbecue back there. Any of you guys own one of those adventure bikes? You know, they look pretty comfortable. I could see them being really nice on a long trip with that long suspension, long travel suspension, and probably plenty of power. Let me know in the comments below if you have one of those and you you know, what you think of it. I know some of you guys have Ulysses, and I know that a lot of folks who own the Ulysses love that thing. So let me know if you know what you think of your adventure bike if you have one. I don't think I'll get one. I just don't think that's really my thing. So if I remember right, the location we want is straight ahead. And we'll head over this direction. So hopefully the camera mount is good for y'all. I know I have to move my head around a lot, and that can cause, oddly enough, can cause motion sickness for the viewer, and I'm aware of that. I do have a chest mount, and I have done the chest mount before, but it shakes so bad while I'm riding. You can't see anything. So I don't use it for that very purpose, or the reason, sorry. Oh, that's a cool old house. Wow. In any case, Aubrey is right here. So anyways, the helmet mount is more stable, and in that sense more better. Oh, looks like Aubrey's doing a little shindig too. And we are in Old Town Aubrey. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I don't care who you are. That's cool, man. If you don't think it's cool, we can't be friends. There's the city hall. So I'll get off and kind of, well, at least shut the Buell down and chill for a second. And talk to you guys a little bit about Aubrey. I'm going to keep my helmet on, but raise my visor so I don't start sweating bullets. So, Aubrey was founded in, I believe, oh, now see, I've forgotten the year. Hold on, let me look it up. I think it's 1867. And you can see what I'm seeing now. It was founded by a Civil War veteran by the last name of Edwards, I think. Yeah, Lemuel Noah Edwards, who died in 1910, and founded this city. 1881, the Texas and Pacific Railway completed a track through this area. And anyhow, Aubrey was divided into lots, and he gave a lot of those lots, I think there's 4 lots, divided up the land with his family. And here you go. So when I come to see some of these old towns in you know, anywhere you live, you're gonna have something along these lines. I think. I always think about what it would have been like back in its heyday. I mean, this is definitely part of its heyday. I mean, it's growing so quickly. There's so many people moving in here, and I mean, this is why people look for this kind of vibe. And this particular part of Aubrey may not have a lot of amenities, but it does have amenities just down the road. We passed some of that, the edge of it, and there's further, just more to the south, I guess. But this is why people come here. They arrive and they're like, wow, look at that. And I love the fact that a number of cities embrace their history and kind of adopt a culture. That's very true in Texas, more so than a lot of other areas I've lived. I've never been in an area, I've lived in a number of places in the United States, but I've never been in an area or a state like Texas wherein people will drive hours to go get barbecue in this other town that they heard was good, or fried pies in another town. And I'm not kidding. Like, they'll drive hours to go get fried pies in another town. How do I know? Because they tell me. They tell me they do it. I just think, wow, that's crazy, man. I'm gonna put this pixie wheel back up. Oh, you come here. Anyways, it's just, you know, that's not gonna go in the dirt. See, this stuff is hard. That's not going in there. I'm gonna stick it right here. That'll help. See, I did my good turn daily. One good turn daily, right? Being a Boy Scout. Let's do 2 or 3. Let's get these 2. Put these up. We'll put them in the planters over here. I saw that there was one over there. And there you go. All right, now it's all pretty. So, I wonder if anybody's in there looking at me and like, what is this guy doing? So anyhow, this is Aubrey, and so back to what I was saying about Texas and the culture here. It's kind of neat to see towns that embrace that and basically invite intercity tourism, and people love it. Back in Salina, where we passed through to get here, there were people who drove. I was in a shop there downtown, and someone had driven from Iowa to check out the barbecue in Salina. That's crazy, man. No, I'm sorry. They were from Chicago. So that just blows my mind. And I don't know if they're, it was just a wild hair they got, or they were just so enthralled by the stories of this barbecue in Salina, Texas, that they just had to go try it out, or if they're planning on moving there. But that's what the lady said in front of me. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I surely would not do that. I don't even do that here, living in Texas. I don't typically drive a long way to go eat food. I obviously rode my bike a little ways to show you guys video of some old buildings. So I guess I am doing it. Just a different, maybe my scope is different. That's a cool old chapel over there, isn't it? See, I love stuff like that. I just love history, and it's just neat to see people keeping things going, especially the old houses and what, too. This is another part that crossed my mind when I see a lot of these old buildings, I think about the hopes and dreams of the people who built them. You know, like, hey, how you doing? Probably doesn't know what that bike is. Probably thinks it's a Triumph. So anyways, I just think about, you know, when they stood up their shops here, their grocery store, their general store, whatever those were back in the day, how they felt about it, you know. I can almost see them in my mind's eye, standing there, looking out off their porch under the awning there, you know. Isn't that cool to think? I don't know. I think that's cool. Maybe I'm a little bit romantic. Well, I think I've kept you guys captive long enough. Maybe some of you have already tuned out and this is real boring to you, but this is what I like to do. Appreciate all of you joining me for this little adventure, we'll call it. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here in Aubrey, Texas, and finish up my ride. I have a lot of work to do back at the house, so my wife is waiting on me. I have a rather large and growing list of honeydews. So, anyways, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you like the video, like it. If you don't like it, pretend that you do. And once again, I want to thank my Patreons for their subscription. I very much appreciate their help. That cop is totally jamming. He's totally jamming in that. Anyways, appreciate you Patreons. If you would consider, any of you others would like to consider joining Patreon, please do so. It does absolutely help the channel. Helps pay for things that help keep this bike going, the Mazda going. And so I thank you all for that. And until next time, peace out and keep it between the ditches.